Hello everyone, this is KenBroTech from KenBroTech. Now in this series of video, you are creating an inventory management system using Django. Now we've built our application to a point where we've created a user profile page. Now this profile page has a relationship with the user. So immediately we create a user, a profile is created. But then this profile page comes with some kind of things we'd want to change, maybe moving forward. So clearly we can see that we have a link button over here and we want to edit some of the things we have over here. So now let's come into VS Code, and inside my projects and inside my user app. Now let me close these ones up so that inside my users app I'm going to have I'm going to go into views, and what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to create a function. So this function, I'm going to call this profile underscore updates. Okay, so this is going to be a profile update, and this is going to take in a request, and I'm going to return render. We've seen this a number of times, and we are going to pass in request over here, and obviously the template that we want to render. So this template is going to be in the user folder, and the name of the template is going to be profile underscore updates. Then finally, I would want us to have a context dictionary over here because we'll be working with one very soon. So I'll have in here context. All right, so okay, so I need to pass in a comma over here. All right, so we don't have any problem over here. Now let's go and create a URL for it, because the moment we create a view, a function view, you have to get some kind of URL for it. And as we already know, we've created all our user URLs in the main project URLs. So what I can do over here is I'm just going to copy the profile and change some few things over here. So I'll do a Ctrl+C over here, and I'll paste it down here. So this is going to lead me to profile and / and I'm going to say updates over here like this. So the profile then / updates is going to be a new route, and this is going to invoke the profile updates function, and over here I'm going to say user dash profile dash updates for the URL. All right, so this is good. So now we've created a view, we've created a URL. Now we need to create a template for it, and we'll come into our template folder, go into users, and I'm going to create profile underscore updates.html, and I think that's the name we gave it in the view over here. Okay, so what this is almost going to look like the main profile page. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy everything over here, and we are going to change some few things. So I'll come in here and paste this over here. So I'll save this, and in order to distinguish this, let's just clear the image over here and anything here as well. So let me come in here, and for profile information we need it. We don't want to have this edit button over here, so I'm going to get rid of this edit button, and I'll just take this one off. We don't have the edit button, and let me also get rid of the table because we don't need the table as well. Okay, so we have this. So when I refresh, okay, so once I do / updates as we have over here, it says that what template does not exist. Okay, so it is expecting user / profile underscore updates, and we don't seem to have that template. I don't know why, but then let's see. So we have profile underscore updates.html. Okay, so let's go to our views and see what is happening. So inside this we have profile underscore updates. Okay, so you forgot to bring .html over here. This is the name of the template. So when I come back to come and refresh, okay, now we have this over here. So when I go to profile, we have this. When I click on this link, okay, so now let's work on this. So let's go into profile.html as we have over here. Let's open things up, and as far as this link edit goes, we're going to put up a template tag over here. You do URL, and this is going to lead us to the, let me check the name of the route we are using over here. So as far as the name of the route goes, it is user-profile-updates. So I'll come back here, come and do user-profile-updates. So I'll save this, and if I come back to come and refresh and click on this, now we get directed back here. Okay, so what do you want to have here? We want to have a form where we can edit the information we already have. And as far as forms are concerned, we've actually worked with forms in the past. So let's come here. We already have forms.py created over here, because when we're dealing with the create user form, that's what we use. So we have the create user form over here, and we are essentially going to repeat what we did over here with the update form. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call a class, and I'm going to say user updates, and I'm going to call this user update form, and this is actually going to inherit from forms.model form. Okay, so later on you're going to see a lot of model forms very well. So this model form is actually a form for the model, I mean, as the name suggests. Okay, so what we can do over here is I'm going to specify a class, and a class method will define the kind of things that we need. So the first attribute over here is going to be model, and the model is going to be user. Remember, we already have user imported over here, so we don't have any problem with this. So the model is going to be user, and the field that we would want to, or the fields that we would want to edit as far as this user update form is concerned. Let me bring this down, and the field is actually going to be exactly what we have over here, but then we don't want to edit the password 1 and the password 2. We want to edit the username and the email. So what I'm going to type here is I want to edit the username. Let me bring the username first, and I'll do a comma, and I'll add the email over here. So this is with the user update form. Okay, the model that we are going to touch is the user. Now we would also want to edit the profile, and as you can see over here, you don't have profile imported over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to say from the current models, I want to import, and I want to import profile so that you can have access to profile. So I'm going to call a class over here. I'm going to define a class, and I'm going to say profile update form. And profile update form is going to inherit from forms.model form, and over here to specify a class method, and the name of the model that we want to have this profile update form for is going to be profile. So the profile model, and the fields that we want to have access to. So as far as the fields go, let's go to the model and actually look at the fields. So you have staff over here. Now remember, staff is going to be the staff that is already logged in, and we don't want to change it because we cannot actually change it. But then what we can change is the address, the phone, and the image. So what I'm going to type in over here is going to be the address. Then we want to also have access to the phone, and finally you would also want to have access to the image as far as the fields are concerned. All right, so we are miles ahead as far as creating the updates is concerned. Now we'll come back to views, and we'll run these imports over here. So as you can see from the module form, we've imported user creation form, and that's what we did when we were creating user. So we can do a comma over here and import the user update form as we have over here. So this is the user update form. Then we can also import the profile update form. So we have these imports running over here. So I'll save this and we'll come back and write logic over here. Now, as far as updating is concerned, it's going to pick up the same structure as far as saving is concerned, and that's why I needed to do saving for you to understand before you go to update. So essentially, if you are saving something and if you are updating something, it will all end in saving it one way or the other. But then the update is going to take a different turn, because the update, you only update something that is already saved, and that's what we are going to do over here. So we are going to put up a form over here. So now let's come into our template, and I prefer to work on this hand by hand so that we see exactly what's going on. So let's go into our product, our profile update form over here as we are working on. Then let's try and put out the form over here. So we can bring the form tag, and we are going to use the post method, and let's hold on for now. So if you should come here, we are going to start with our logic. So I'm going to say if request dot method is equal to post, like we did with the registration. So if the request dot method is equal to post, now we can define a variable form, and form is now going to be equal to the user update form. Okay, so this is the user update form as we see over here, and I'm going to put this, and I'm saying the request dot post, so that we grab that request actually. And there's also one parameter we need to specify over here. I'm going to say instance. I'm going to say instance is equal to requests dot user. Okay, so I'm going to explain exactly what this is actually doing over here. And I'm also going to specify another form. So we are going to have two forms over here. So what I can do is I can call this user form. So I'm going to say user underscore form, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this profile underscore form, so that we have these two forms working out over here. So the profile form is also going to use the profile update form, and I'm also going to grab the post item we are trying to put up over here. Then with this one, I'm also going to say request.files, and I'm saying request.files because we are going to work with images as far as the profile is concerned. All right, then last but not the least, the instance is going to be request.user.profile. I'm going to explain exactly what is happening over here. Now let me close this so that we see everything on the same line. All right, so what I can now do is, if the request.method is equal to post, then we want to see this else. So I'm going to come in here and say else. So else, I'm just going to render the forms out. Else, I'm going to say user form is equal to, and I'm just going to copy this, Control C over here, and I'm going to get rid of the request.post because we don't want to post the data in there yet. Then the profile form will now be equal to, I'm also going to copy this, Control C, paste it over here, and get rid of the request.post and the instance, the request.files. So I'll save this. All right, so what I can do now is I can pass in this user underscore form in my context dictionary, and I'm also going to say profile underscore form. All right, so this is what we have so far. Okay, so this is pretty much let me also close this one so that we have access to the whole page. Okay, so this is what is happening now. We have already worked with the registration form, okay, and we kind of know exactly what is happening over here. But as far as the update is concerned, we are kind of modifying things. Now remember, we have the request.post, which we are quite used to, but also we are saying that instance is equal to request.user. We are going to see exactly what is going to happen if we have this instance there and if we don't have the instance there. Now, the reason why we have, or it is prudent we use context dictionaries over here, is the fact that now you can see that we are passing multiple forms or multiple data over here, and we can all have access to it in this profile updates.html template. So what I can do over here is, because this is some kind of data, I can do user form over here, and I'm going to duplicate this and call this the profile form. So this is going to be the profile form, and let me see if, yeah, we have crispy form tags over here. So I'll just apply the crispy filter and do same over here as well. So I have crispy over here. Now when I save this and come back over here and come and refresh, now you can see that we have this form created for us. Okay, we didn't have to worry ourselves putting out anything over here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put up an input of type submit over here, and I'm going to say update. I'm going to apply some bootstrap classes over here. So I'm going to say btn, and I'll do info. So when I save this and refresh, now we have this working out over here. Now, if assuming we don't bring this instance.user, so let me try and grab this over here and delete this, and let me also delete this as well. Okay, so if you don't bring the instance dots, or if you don't bring the instance over here, this is exactly what's going to happen. We are going to render our form, which is going to be empty, which does not make sense, okay, because we want to have a form where we have it already pre-filled and we can edit it. Okay, so immediately we click on edit. We want to see Joseph over here so that you can edit it, and that's why we have the instance over there. So I'll once again bring them back, and if I do so, we now have this pre-filled for us. All right, so now we are not quite done yet as far as the logic is concerned. So now we are saying that if all these are okay, we render these forms out, and we are going to say if user form dot is valid. Remember, we've dealt with this, and profile form dot is valid. So if both of them are valid, and both of them needs to be valid before we would want to save. So if profile form dot is valid and if user form dot is valid and profile form dot is valid, then we want to have user form dot save, and we also want to have profile form dot save. Good. So this is probably good, and what we want to do is we want to return a redirect. So we are going to do return redirect. And where do we want to redirect? We want to redirect back onto our profile page. Okay, so our profile page, let me check the URL over here. So for our profile page, our URL is user-profile. So I'm going to pass in a strange format, user-profile over here. So I'll save this and let's try and edit Joseph. So we have this over here. Now, first of all, let's change the profile image. So for the profile image, I'll go here and inside this, I'll come in here and let's say you want to choose this. So I've changed this to the profile image. When I click on update, it is requiring me to type in an address and a phone number. So for the address, let me just pick one over here, and for the phone number, let me just pick one random one over here as well. So if I click on updates, it says that what's CSRF token missing or incorrect, and I think by now we should know exactly why this is happening. So we need to pass in a CSRF token over here. So just above this, we are going to pass in the CSRF underscore token. So I'll save this and we'll come back over here. Okay, so you have this working, and when I click on updates, okay, so it's still picking it. All right, so let me just click on edit and put in an address over here. And for phone number, I'm just going to type this over here, and I'm going to choose an image, this gentleman. And when I click on updates, we have this over here. So we have the phone and the address, but then we don't have anything for the image. The image is not working properly. So now let's try and fix this out. I honestly don't think there's any problem with the view logic over here, because once the address and the phone, which has to do with the profile, is able to affect those changes, then I think the problem has to do with the image and something we are missing out. Okay, so I think this is cool. Now let's go back to this and all right, so I think on the form we need to specify an eng type, and for this eng type we are going to use the multi-part form data, okay, so that it accepts those two kind of data we are trying to update, as far as the image profile and the rest of the data over there, and the user profile, so that things will change together. So I'll come in here and come and refresh, and now let's do an edit once more. So let's change this to Mary, and I'm going to change this to Mary or mash@gmail.com, and I'm going to leave this to University of Mines and Technology, and I'm going to leave this over here. So with the image, I'm going to choose this image over here, and let me update this and see. All right, so I think this is working. Now we have Mary over here and this email address and this working properly when you come to dashboard. Okay, so now everything is working cool. Now let's go back into the backend and see that if the changes we made is actually having effects over here. So remember, it was a Joseph profile. We've changed it to Mary. When I refresh, clearly we now have Mary profile over here, and when I go to users too, we also have Mary over here. So now everything is working perfectly. So this brings us to the end of this video. So in this video, you've been able to see how we can perform an update on our profile. Okay, so by default, we had an avatar image and we weren't so happy with the image. I mean, the image is not what we want. We want to add our own image, and this is what we've done. So in the next video, we're actually going to go into our admin dashboard and see how we write in logic for the staff, so that we display the stuff in here. We also write in logic to display the products in here, and you're also going to write in logic the order that is going to be made by the staff. Now, if you find this tutorial very interesting, there are a couple of ways you can help me grow my channel. Kindly subscribe to KenBroTech and click on the notification button so that you'll be duly notified anytime I release a video. Also, share this video with friends and family who find this content very useful. At KenBroTech, we say learn programming. You can do it. Don't forget to pass in a comment or ask any question in the comment section. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.